I mean, Nigeria celebrated 64 yesterday, so let's be happy.
Well,
Let's be happy for Nigeria.
today is October 2nd. Well,
Yeah,
we should all be
just for
happy to be
yesterday,
alive.
yes.
No,
At least we are alive.
It's all
Like
gone. It's
Nigerians will
all
say Kadupemi. Yeah, they say Kadupemi.
yes.
And
It's
like
important
many people,
but it's
exactly.
also important we can take
Thank
his
God for
stock, you
life.
know.
Yes,
Yeah, well, it's
absolutely.
something people can take his stock, you know, because you can't
And
just
then
be alive.
again, this era, I like Nigerians for one thing. We always quickly adjust. Nigerians already said, carry Tiwashi. May this government favor me. That's all that is important, right?
Well, they didn't okay.
So, at any rate,
Let them not deceive themselves.
I
They
just want you
cannot.
to react to, we've been talking about regional governments over time and how it has helped a lot of different parts of Nigeria to develop at their own pace and develop, variously.
Yes.
But then, while people were saying, okay, there's a bill, let's just wait for it. There's a bill that is going to bring Nigeria back to regional system of government, and a lot of people were expecting. And while they expected that just the same way, the bill to return Nigeria to the old national anthem got accelerated hearing. So Nigerians expected that, that of regional autonomy will just be automatic, especially because the APC, the ruling party, before they came, when they were in opposition, we are also mounting restructuring, return to regional and all those things. So now that they are there, people expected, the expectation was so high. But then suddenly, to their shock, a lawmaker of the APC stock, Opeyemi Bamidele, also an activist, like you should know him. So
I know him.
Then came up with the root shock and said, no, if we grant regional autonomy or go back to regional system of government, it is going to automatically, you would have given Biafra, Southeasterners, the chance for a Biafra. And then people are wondering, Dr. Debowale, you want to react to that? What's your view?
Obviously, see,
any problem with
you brought my attention to what Opeyemi Bamidele said, and
yes.
I
want
have
to know
been
what you
trying
think about it.
Yes, I've been trying to I read the reports after you brought this to my attention that Opeyemi said this, and I'm not surprised. Unlike many Nigerians, I'm not surprised at Opeyemi Bamidele's politics. It has always been like that. It is when anytime you're expecting to take a stand on something as serious as this, that is when you see the real Opeyemi Bamidele. So I'm not really surprised. I'm not surprised at all. But again, because this country belongs to all of us. This country belongs to all of us. We must continue to join issues with the likes of Opeyemi Bamidele and those who send him on such errands. We must let them know that this country belongs to all of us. It is their turn today.
Should we take this as his personal view or the view of the entire party? Because
obviously, it could not.
Opinion.
No, well, perhaps so, but he couldn't have come out to say so, considering his position in the Senate, considering his antecedents. He could not have come out to say so if he had not been asked to say so. He couldn't have come out to say so if he had not been told to say so. And we should not wait until they push all of us into the lagoon or Atlantic Ocean, why they turn us to the cement that they for the extension of what we call Atlantic, before we voice out our own disagreement. Anybody who is talking about anyone who is talking about not allowing regional system of government or a form of a political arrangement which will ensure that a semblance of autonomy is granted to the ethnic nationalities that make up this country you call Nigeria. He's a fraudulent person. It's as simple as that.
And what would be
He
your reason
studied
for
with
calling him fraudulent? He's just
Opeyemi
trying to save the
Bamidele.
country.
Wait, Opeyemi Bamidele is a lawyer. He studied religious study before he went to study law. Opeyemi Bamidele cannot be treated like just any of these politicians because he also claimed to have led the students' movement at some point. And I remember, meeting him at a NANS convention, I think in 1988 or 1989 at Ilorin. So Opeyemi knows what he's saying. So people like Opeyemi should not be spared. We can overlook the shenanigans of others, but not Opeyemi. Not Opeyemi Bamidele now. He cannot say so. What's his business with Biafra? And who says that Biafra cannot secede? I'm not joining anybody to say that. I've never in my life joined anyone to say that a group of people will be bound, will be tied to the whims and caprices of the rest of a particular space in perpetuity. I have not said so. We must continually negotiate the basis of our coexistence. We have to, we must. I'm not trying to support the excesses of these people, the so-called Biafra people, or those who are taking for it. But you cannot take away that natural right from them. You cannot. You cannot take that right from them. You cannot. Who are you to say that it's because it will give them the right to secede? Who are you to say so? If it is their passion to secede, if they think that it is their interest to secede, let them secede. Who are you to say so? Who are you to determine for them? Are you an Igbo representative? Are you representing the 5 states of the East? Are you? You are not talking about your Ekiti, a backward place. I'm sorry, you are not talking about Ekiti. We are nothing is happening. Nothing is happening in Ekiti. You should be worried that Ekiti gets allocation from the federal government for doing almost nothing, for contributing almost nothing. Unlike before, when Ekiti was a major contributor to the national purse through cocoa, through farming, he should be worried. Opeyemi should be worried that Ekiti is not viable as a state. It is not viable as a state. Remove Lagos, remove Ogun State because of the industrial base and the taxes they get that they just share, like that. Remove Lagos, remove Ogun. Where are the other states? Okay, remove rivers and perhaps cross rivers. Even cross rivers is because of the contiguity to River State. We are the viable states in Nigeria now. We are. Because everybody depends on a monolithic economy. Everybody depends on federal allocation. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Sharing
that 64 years after, we are talking about sharing formula. We are talking about why are they talking about derivation? Why are they talking about derivation? If it is the best for us to continue like this, like idiots, why are they talking about derivation? Why are they now establishing Southwest Development Commission, Northeast Development Commission, Niger Delta, Development Commission, and all of this? These are hypocrites. These are hypocrites. Why? Will you even recognize the fact that you should put the Federal Character Commission in your constitution? If there is no fundamental problem of trust, the fact of our divergence is so clear, nobody can deny it. We build the trust, the understanding as we move towards nationhood. You don't decree it through psychophancy. You cannot decree unity. That was the mistake that Nrosi made, and that was all got him killed. And that is why we are still in this problem up till now. That's why we are still in this problem. That's why we are still in this problem. What does he have against the journal?
Well, maybe he's just trying
Is
to
what?
look at, maybe after weighing it, he just looked at it and said,
Mm.
yes, the unity of Nigeria should not be tampered, and that is a window through which the country could break.
Has he bothered to ask his constituencies, the constituencies he claims to be representing? Because I know he comes from a senatorial district in Ekiti. When was the last time he went home to talk to them? It's not the time to vote now. When was the last time Opeyemi went home now to go and talk to people that he will now sit in Abuja and be pontificating? What has entered his head? Well, we are not. Who are you? You are just a member of the Senate. We are not looking at it. Who are you? If a bill comes to you, there's a process, there's a procedure. There's a procedure. You can't guillotine it. Who are you now? There is a
He's a
process.
senator. He's a lawmaker.
No, he's a senator. Yes, that is a fact. He's a senator. By whatever means, he's a senator. And he's representing some people. And forget about the fact that it is very difficult, almost impossible for a recall to be effected in our politics. But he should also be mindful of the fact that he claims to be representing some people that he never sees. I challenge him to tell Nigerians that the meeting where he was, that the people gave him their express instruction that Biafra should not secede, or that we should not go back to regional government when they were wealthy. What gave them wealth? Not they are now slaves. Foreigners are in their farms. Foreigners are in their farms. Chinese and Igbo, just as they are everywhere. Go and find out, please. I've been making too much noise about this. Who is it to be saying that? You disempower the people. They are unable to take charge of their own lives. Your own philosophy is about how to distribute money. Palliative, 20 trucks of rice. Minimum wage. You give money to those who don't work. Then you now have consequential increment in the salaries of those who go to office when they choose to. And when they go to office, they go to compound the problems of this country. Who are you now? Who is he? No, who is he now?
Okay. Well, let's talk about the regional government itself right now. What are the advantages, if there are, and what are the disadvantages, if you may? There's nothing that doesn't have its own.
No system is perfect. No system, no political arrangement is sacrosanct. But you keep working at it. The regional system of government that this country practiced during the colonial era, shortly before independence, precisely from 1955 to 1959, all of us are living witnesses to the fact that the legacies of that era is still with us. And from 1955 to until 1966, when Rossi and others came to truncate the evolutionary process, it was working. It was working. Some will say, if it was working, why was there a coup? The coup happened for a different reason. A combination of factors led to the coup. We should be truthful. We should let our children know this. It was working. All the landmark achievements recorded in the defunct western region of Nigeria were achieved during that time. Every region, proceeded at its own pace. We set our priorities. At the time, Awolowo thought that, look, information dissemination was important. It was very important. What other regions considered to be a luxury. And what did he do? He brought in the idea of wireless radio, rediffusion. A house that had the wireless radio was considered the house of, the middle class, a wealthy person. But it will shock you that most cocoa farmers had, because it was through this wireless radio that the experts in agriculture extension instructed them on when to plant, how to plant, how to, spray, whatever they planted, and so on. It was also meant for entertainment. Then it proceeded and brought the first television station on the continent of Africa in 1959. It was our priority. It was through this system that our law said, look, we cannot be producing typists and stenographers who will be working in colonial offices. Then the idea of universal basic education came. And it said primary education would be free and compulsory. It didn't stop at that because the colonial government wanted to sabotage his efforts. With the connivance of Nnamdi Azikiwe and Ahmadu Bello. Go and read, go and find out. They didn't support the Universal Basic Education Program of our law in 1955. They did not support him. What has now become the UBEC Act was stolen from the Western region. So our law said that was the priority of his own region. Then the colonial region said, where will you get the money? He said he will get the money from his own account in the federal purse. Proceed from cocoa sales. And in addition, he will impose tax. All these people banding a free education, let them go back to read. He imposed poll tax. You must pay or you go to jail. It was not popular because of this. But he insisted that that was the way to go. That every child must go to school. The likes of Adelabu Adegoke, Yope Kelemes, used this against him and said I was going to get the people's children from the farms. That cocoa farmers were going to lose cheap laborers and they're going to depend on Agatu, sorry, I was speaking derogatorily on people from the Middle Belt to work on the farms and so on. That was a fact.
Dr.
What you call Lagos State getting revenue, I'm sorry, please, let me talk about the gains of the Western region, of the regional system. Lagos State sits on top of trillions of naira now. Not of their making. The old Western region started from Jibowu in Lagos, Jibowu, and ended at Asaba before the bridge. That was the old Western region before they created the Midwest from the old Western region in 1963. The old Western region started from Jibowu, where you call boundary, Ajegunle, was Western region. Part of Apapa, Western region. Anybody who committed any crime, who managed to jump into Jibowu, run into Fadi, and entered the West, talking about criminal jurisdiction. All of these places were Western region. Oregun Industrial Estate, Apapa, Ikeja, Wema Board Estate, all of these came because regions were allowed to set their priorities. And I've been talking about the West because I'm from the Western region. No apologies at all. I long for that glorious era when our people were not slaves, when our people did not depend on salaries to feed themselves, when our people did not depend on the North or SBR for feeding basic sustenance. But even the North had their granite pyramid. The North had their granite pyramid. They had the textile industries. Many of them in the North did not produce shoes. Did not produce.
Sorry, Dr.
The
Odebole, I guess
part of the country too, apart from sorry.
Yeah, there was a time it was in the news that some people were constituting terrorism because they have some gold and some other natural deposits somewhere,
Precisely.
and they do not want it. And they do not want it to be. They do not want it to be tapped into the federation account. They just cornered it. Perhaps if there's a regional system, it will not be useful to them because at this point they will not be able to use it for their own regional growth.
Why would people like Opeyemi believe that it's only crude oil that Nigeria should share, the proceeds from crude oil? If he's a fair-minded person, Why should we believe that it's only crude oil when we have other natural resources, large deposits, bitumen, kaolin, uranium, gold, other precious stones? The whole of Zamfara state, where that funny fellow, Sonny Yerima, turned into a Sharia, he turned into a desert suddenly for his own criminal activities. The whole of Zamfara is mineral resources. The whole, every part. Ileshanko, Osun State. Osun State that is insolvent now, that is not viable. The source of all of us Yoruba people anywhere in the world, Osun State. The gold. The traditional rulers in Osun State and Chinese and the criminals in Ministry of Solid whatever are the ones destroying the ecology of that place. They are the ones. So all of these people are the ones hiding under one Nigeria, under a unitary constitution. During the regional system of government, each region had its own constitution. There was the federal constitution, then each region had its own constitution. It was like that during the colonial era. The 1960 independence constitution allowed the West, the East, and the North to have their separate constitutions. And I once alluded to a fact that the deputy premier of the defunct Western region was Remi Fani-Kayode SAN, Kwesi SAN, the father of FFK, Femi Fani-Kayode. He was deputy premier. It was only the Western region that had the position of the deputy premiership of all the region, and nobody fought against it. You don't impose a uniform system on a people that have. The Eastern region, for instance, did not have the House of Chiefs because they did not have that. It was a Republican setup. They didn't have the House of Chiefs as we had in Western region. They didn't have it. It is now that you have criminals who will leave their villages and will come to Lagos and become easy. Criminals, ruthless bastards. We are not say they are easy. Where will be your domain? If you are not a bastard, you leave your village, you come and sell cocaine, you come and sell imported fabric clicker. Then after making money through armed robbery and what have you, then you become easy. Eastern region did not have the House of Chiefs because it was not in their culture. The Northern region, the feudal system was entrenched. They believe so much in the native authorities. So every region had its peculiarities, and it was not sacrosanct, as I said, because the people of the middle belt region, where you now call the North Central, the Tiv, the Beron people, they were constantly fighting against Ahmadu Bello and his oppressive tactics. They were. It was Azikiwe who was talking about one Nigeria because of his own insidious, sinister plans to grab everything. And that was what led to the death of Hiroshi. That was why they killed people. This is the truth. Those who abolished the regional system did it because at a time when it paid Nnamdi Azikiwe and the Northerners, when Azikiwe and others, the NCNC, formed the alliance with the MPC of the Northern people, and Azikiwe became the president, and as the president of Nigeria, he headed, all national institutions. He was the visitor. He used his position to ensure that his people were in the army, in the police, in customs, in the universities. All the vice chancellors were Igbo. He did all of these things. He enjoyed it. Nigerian Railway Corporation, 80% Igbo. Everywhere. But Akitola, SLA Akitola, who fought against Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Akitola, and Ahmadu Bello had ensured that Awolowo went to jail. From 1962, While he was in jail, before Awolowo went to jail, if you go and read his book on thoughts of Nigerian constitution, Path to Nigerian freedom, go and read these two books. He has been mentioning the fact that we could not move forward as a country if we did not break, you know, the political, yes, that we must work towards having a weak center. He said that he had identified the problem of the Ogoni minority as far back as 1946. As far back as 1946, he had identified the problem of the minorities. And when what was he fighting for? So look, let us break. He did not mind that the Western region was broken, that the Midwest was carved out. But the hypocrite called Nnamdi Azikiwe and Ahmadu Bello, that feudalist, they moved, while he was in jail, they quickly moved to adopt the Republican Constitution in 1963, removing the Privy Council as the final court. Salutary, but it was not for politics, so that Adegbero would not be pronounced as the premier. They were using Akitola. Then they carved Midwest out of the old Western region. So the current Edo and Delta states were taken off. No problem. So they remove Cross River, Akwa Ibom, rivers from the old Eastern region. Nnamdi Azikiwe refused. He refused. So the Western region was the only region that was broken. Then the Northern region was intact. So the regional system of government, in fact, made a provision. The Constitution allowed the creation of more regions. Go and check it. The creation of more regions. You must follow the constitutional provisions, but it was not forbidden. Then after when SLA Akitola now acquitted them, Awolowo was in jail. The Nnamdi Azikiwe, who refused to form an alliance with Awolowo when he was outside in 1959 to form a government. If he had allowed Awolowo to form a government with him, they would have formed the government. Awolowo wanted to be his Minister of Finance, that he would be the Prime Minister. He said no. He went to meet Ahmadu Bello. He enjoyed the patronage. When after Awolowo now went to jail, when they tried to destroy Action Group, the rump of the party membership led by DS Adegbero, Azikiwe now formed an alliance called OPGA with them. Then Akitola, being a very smart guy, streetwise, more streetwise than Awolowo. Awolowo was just speaking English and philosophy. Then I just went straight to speak outside to Ahmadu Bello and others. Even in Mashetin, I'm a ready slave, I'm a willing slave, I will do whatever. Then he went to form the NNA with his new party, NNDP, the new Nigerian Democratic Party that he had formed after he was pushed out of Action Group. Then they now formed New Nigerian Alliance, NNA. What now happened? The Igbos now became the minority in Balewa's government. They had Raymond Njoku, they had Keo Mbadiwe and Ajanwachuku. Just 3 ministers, as against before, when they dominated everywhere. That was what led to the January coup. Let nobody deceive you.
At any rate, Dr. Devali, thank you so much for that.
That was what led to the January coup. And when Nrosi now came, the highest point of his policy as a military head of state was the promulgation of Decree 34.
I don't want it to go beyond that. I don't want it to actually go beyond 30 minutes. I don't want I don't want the interview to go beyond 30, and we're already at 29, 30. So we have 30 seconds to wrap up. So I just want us to, in a nutshell, you have already taken us down history and you have already explained the benefits of the regional system of government.
Bamidele stopped rubbish. That the regional system of government may not be the best, but at least it will allow each region. First, you establish your identity. Then the second one is that you'll be able to determine how best you want to approach the socioeconomic challenges that you face.
So in a
Anybody
nutshell,
that to now move into the old order, into the old established by Decree 34, adopted by the North, and now that became 1979 Constitution, that became 1999 Constitution, is a fraudulent person. How can you have just one constitution in a country? America does not have, every state has its own constitution in America, and they go there on holidays.
So in a nutshell,
you are not talking about the police again. You are not talking about all the features of a true federal system. The only thing that concerns you is Biafra. What kind of
look at the nutshell, you do not. So you do not share the same fear with him that regional system may altogether at the end of the day result in breaking the country. You do not share in the fear.
No. You cannot. I mean, why will it break the country? Everybody will still subscribe to the federal, government. The center may not be as strong as it is now. You may not have agencies that don't work, that collect money freely. Everybody will be accountable. So it will be based on what you are able to produce.
Would there still be would there still be senators in a regional system, by the way?
With their what?
Would there still be senators like Opeyemi Bamidele is the Senate? Would they still be as they are now in a regional?
Obviously, his position will be scrapped now because it's useless.
Obviously, okay.
Because during the First Republic, when you have a parliamentary system as against the presidential system, you have the issue of collective responsibility. Then those who are members of the cabinet become ministers. Parliamentarians are also ministers. They will join from the party. Then the policies of the government will come from the party. What you have now is a caricature. Now, where are the parties? Who is the party? Who is the APC leader? Who is the PDP leader? Do you know? Who is Labour leader? Do you know them? What are their philosophies? Do you know? What are they bringing to the table? Do you know? You don't know now, but in the parliamentary system, you will, apart from the government of the day, you will have a shadow government. You have a shadow government. Every portfolio will have a shadow minister to counter it, not to antagonize, but to pick flaws in whatever policies they are bringing forward. Every, it was a serious business. You won't just open your mouth and talk. That will be Biafra will secede. That will mean that every member of APC will have debated it. They will have adopted it. Even the APC members in Imo State, also Zodima and others, will have given you, because you still need to take all of these things to the houses of assembly for ratification. You see, take them, the 5 states of the Southeast, their houses of assembly will still need to support you. That
anyways, thank you so much, Dr. Debwale. We haven't heard from the Southeast senators regarding this. Perhaps they already share the same idea, but do not want to say it by themselves. And maybe they push somebody who may be the easy person to say it. Maybe that's why they allowed him.
No, even the Southeast senators. This goes beyond. Sorry, let me quickly say this. This goes beyond mere, picking up Bamidele for who he is and be. No. Even they themselves have been unfair to their own people. They have been very unserious. The Southeast senators, you have about 15 of them. Then you have 43 House of Reps people for a state for the region that share the same landmass as just one of your states. They've been sharing money, they've been collecting all of these things. Now, what is their position? Kanu is the one speaking for them. Do you know them? Do you know anybody from the Southeast? Any senator who has been talking? Objectv just came back from prison. He was accused of stealing. Then he was on technical ground. He was released by the Supreme Court. Apart from Objectv, who are the senators? What are they saying? What is their position? What is their position? You see, we should not allow them to rest. Opeyemi may say so because he doesn't want the Senate scrapped. He does not want the Senate scrapped. That is it. He wants his privileges to continue. 29 million naira a month and constituency allowance and all of this. He wants to be. His village is backward. In Ekiti, So he cannot come out and be insulting us in 2024. We are getting old. We should stop this nonsense, this policy. Your government just wants to do youth confab now. They want to gather all these these terrible people to come and discuss the problems of Nigeria. Who does not know that it is lack of productivity? That is the main problem. Who does not know that because we don't produce in this country, that is why people are like this? Who does not know that we depend solely on oil? Who does not know? Do you need a confab of 1 month to discuss that? You have shared rights, you have shared money, you have increased the minimum wage. Now you need to discuss again. You take young people away from the farm. Then when you are campaigning, you are talking about Agbado. You are talking about Agbado, recruitment to the army, and all of this. So what is happening, for heaven's sake? What is happening? Running an economy should not be about how to increase the price of petrol alone. We must be thinking, we have paid debts. Now, I should be clapping for you for paying debts. Debt for what? Those who went a borrowing, they constructed bridges, they built universities, hospitals, roads. You construct, now you want to build Lagos to Calabar. That is not my own priority. Shagamu Ore has collapsed. Or Shagamu Jeponi, it has collapsed. That is my own priority. I live here and I'm in Ogun State. As I talk, I'm in Ogun State. So what exactly is going on? So I should be
Abule back to Songo toll gates is also collapsed.
It collapsed. And you have people saying that they were generals in the army, they were all of these people, funny element, advising INEC to cancel election and bring these people. I don't want to use any strong language this morning. I do because I mean it's here, I'm still booting. These people, everywhere you turn to, you see poverty. And it is going to get worse. Instead of mobilizing the youth to collectivize labor, mobilize them. You are doing NYSC. Now you have increased their allowances, train them.
Dr. Debowale, thank you so much. In a nutshell, you do not subscribe to Senator Opeyemi Bamidele's thoughts on the
I can never support. I can never support.
Thank you so much.